It's been forever since I actually recorded anything. I'm gonna apologize now for the noise. The guy upstairs, the front desk, hella loud, so I'm sorry for all that background noise. I have not recorded in quite some time. So today I'm actually recording something that I have been wanting to speak on, reflect on, and it's completely a part of my healing journey. But I was always out of fear. I would never want to talk about it, or never I would never record about it. I would just never speak on it. But it's something that was the first thing I wanted to always kind of speak on. But it's actually very hard for me. So I might be crying because I'm a real sensitive ass person. Like, it could be a happy moment, I'm gonna be crying. I've been this way all my life, which has to do with trauma because my nervous system been shocked forever. So yeah, so if I'm crying, just
to mind your damn motherfucking business, bitch.
So today I wanted to record about, we're gonna speak on a lot of things that I have gone through, my experience in life, basically, starting from when I was a child to a teenager to an adulthood and things like that. Dealing with domestic violence, dealing with physical, mental, verbal abuse for many, many years. And till this day, I feel like I still deal with that abuse because of the people in my life who, they're like not in my life, but they're in my life, if that makes any sense. And just talk about grieving, of course, always going to grieve my mom for the rest of my life, but I don't think people ever speak on grieving someone who is not passed on. Like, since I was young, when my mother passed away, literally 2011, she's actually going to make a decade next month. So when she passed away in 2011, I also lost someone else in my life, and that person's not dead till this day, but it's like mourning this person who's no longer either speaking to you or no longer in your life in the physical world. And people don't realize how difficult it is to grieve two people at the same time. No one has ever spoken on that, or I just never spoken to anyone really about it. And what I'm going to speak on today, I have not spoken about to anyone, like my family, my very close friends. No one knows the trauma or the things that I've gone through to get me where I am today. Obviously, it was just something that I felt like I was silenced about for so many years, and I'm no longer being silent. I'm no longer protecting people who don't protect me. And this video was supposed to have happened so long ago, but the first person I think about is my child and things like that. I want to always protect him. And as he gets older, it's just like, I'm going to actually try and block this video so he doesn't actually see it. But I am always protecting him over me and everyone else because I don't care for the people that have caused me the trauma, the abuse, and things like that. It has nothing to do with them. Speaking on what I've gone through because of certain individuals in my life. So I never recorded, never spoke on it, and just, you hid it, you hide it. We hide it so well, so deep, and just kind of throw it back. So I've dealt with abuse since I was a kid, firsthand, growing up, watching it within my home. So that right there was already traumatic for kids to go through and witness for years. It wasn't just as a kid, it was up until I was like 16, 18, 17. Like, it happened throughout my entire childhood, teenage years, and adulthood. Seeing it at home firsthand is obviously something we can't control. And this has nothing to do with shaming or putting, my dad or any man in my life or was in my life on blast. It has nothing to do with them, because the last thing I want to do is speak bad on people, and it's been how many years, but it doesn't matter. I've realized during my healing journey and being in therapy and things like that, doesn't matter how long it's been, it's still there's still triggers, and there's still things that I have to release in order for me to continue moving on and moving forward. And it's not that I didn't let it go, it's that there are some days that you're doing great, and then boom, that the person that did give you the abuse and the people that have caused you trauma will do something and it'll trigger you. And that's where I am, where it's like I've buried and released everything I can possibly think of, and in that one moment something happens and you're just like, a switch kind of goes off. You're like, oh shit, I guess I numbed it. I guess I did not release it as much as I thought I did. So this is kind of like my exit video of relinquishing everything that has happened to me, because it does affect me on a regular basis. It affects the people, or like even men that I'm pursuing, or men that are pursuing me. It affects me. So I'm at a point in my life where it's like, yeah, no, I'm no longer going to let this shit affect me. And if this video is going to be helpful, which I feel like it is, because I have so much to say and so much to speak on, and it's something I'm actually pretty passionate about. And what better month than, what is it, Women's Month or something? So what better month than now? So back to when abuse started, the physical, watching the physical, mental abuse and things like that. You gotta understand, my culture is very different. I'm Palestinian. Our culture is completely different. My religion is Muslim. But I'm more spiritual than I am religious. So you grow up and watching things like that, they have normalized it in that culture. And this is nothing to take digs or like, you know, because I love my dad. I love all the men in my life. When I was growing up, I had to literally just accept them for who they are, because they know no better. You know, they weren't taught better. Like they were not told how to be a man. They were not told how to treat women. They were not taught any of these things. And I can't blame them completely, because everyone has a choice. But I cannot blame them completely because of how ignorant they were raised. That's pretty much it. It's ignorance. It's ignorance, and they're just not educated well enough to understand that, you know, right is right, wrong is wrong, and it's literally black and fucking white, right? So dealing with watching that with my mom and things like that, it affects you. I always tell myself, that can't be me. It's never gonna be me. No one's gonna lay a finger on me. No one's gonna talk to me, you know. And I'm pretty, I can be aggressive. Like I can be that and that comes from trauma, being the aggressive, the anger, the things like that. So I always tell myself, ain't no way. I would never, like, there's no one, you're not talking to me no kind of way. That is a defense mechanism that I've created. It took away my feminine side, and that's where I'm so masculine, because I grew up with that, just like that anger. You become something that you're not. And so as I got older, you know, I had a relationship really young, and you know, you think this is your the rest of your life. You think that that's it. This is it. This is the person you want to be with, and things like that. Until like things hit the fan, and it got really bad. It got really toxic. It got really abusive, verbally, physically. Me being so strong-minded, and when I actually had to physically go through the physical abuse, the couple times, and it's not that I got beat every day. I don't want people to assume like, oh shit, like she got fucked up all the time. It wasn't like that, but it was more than enough times in order for me to leave, you know. And you don't leave. I didn't leave for a couple times. I really didn't leave, and that was the hardest for me. I'm like, you've always been strong, so why are you not leaving? So the person that gave me my strength always was my son. My son was always that person for me. And I didn't play that shit, you know. He never, till this day, thank you God, he has not witnessed anything, like even arguing or fighting, none of it. He's never, I'm hoping he doesn't have so much trauma, you know, because I am trying my best. But I am going to get him into therapy eventually, because I feel his sensitivity is definitely from something. So he needs to speak to someone. If he's not comfortable enough to speak to me. Dealing with abuse at a young age. I was 16, 17 maybe 15, I don't even remember, but it was high school and a little after high school. And this person obviously is not right in the head till this day, because I still deal with the silent abuse, and people don't talk about silent abuse. That is the biggest trigger for me. Being ignored for years is probably the most mindfuck that you can do to a person. So when I say things like that affect me in my relationships now, so like when I'm being pursued by someone and someone is not answering, or they're ignoring, or it's just like, yo, you're gonna ignore me, I deal with enough ignoring, and we're not gonna go anywhere. Like, it just, like, that's it. My pride, my ego will be number one, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not dealing with it. Like, you're not gonna ignore me. I hate being ignored because I have been ignored by someone that I should not be ignored by. It's very sad, but I also tell myself it's not me. If this person is not capable of communicating, or if this person is not capable of doing X, Y, and Z, it just shows who that person is. It has nothing to do with me. So when people want to be a victim all the time, when they want to play that victim role and act like you're always the issue, and it's like, yeah, no, you're the problem. You're always going to be the problem. And telling myself that has helped me push forward. I've come to just like I've come to the point where it's just like, there's nothing I can do about it. You cannot force people to see, hear, and acknowledge. And this is how I know how traumatic it was, because when I went through it, when someone puts hands on you so badly, I literally took, that situation had happened, it took me a whole week to forget about it. So I literally pushed it in the back of my mind, moved forward, and acted like it never happened. And I stood. Now, when you do things like that, you don't realize how bad you are mentally, because my mom used to do that. She'd go through it with my dad or whatever, and she'll ignore him for 2-3 days and then just act like nothing happened. Food's on the table, like, she literally just, that's it, like, oh, it's normal. So when I did that, obviously in my head I'm like telling myself, like, you're crazy, like, you gotta go, like, why are you still here? And I stood. And then you don't even speak about it. I never even got an apology. There's no apologizing for any hurt, physically, mentally. I've never gotten an apology. I think that's kind of like one of the biggest things. When you're healing, people want to call it closure, but you give yourself closure. I don't think people give you closure. You learn to give yourself closure, and that's kind of what has gotten me through, which is giving my own self closure. Because people will ignore you after they do the worst shit to you, and they will ignore you, and it's just really coward of a human being. People can be so evil. I had to literally tell myself every single time, like, you're not getting an apology, and that's okay. If anything, just keep praying for these people. So one thing is, I still pray for these people who have hurt me. I'm always going to pray for them, 100%. I'm probably going to be talking like about like everything like back and forth. I'm going to go back and then forward. So don't mind me. My mind is literally all over the place. So I noticed that I did what my mom did, and it has to connect some way, somehow. And it's sad, because I was a child and I knew no better. So And I remember being a kid telling my mom, like, yeah, no, you gotta go, you gotta leave his ass, you know? And one thing she always said was, yeah, my daughters will never be like me, you know? Like, they're very strong headed, they're strong minded, they take care of themselves, and they'll never stick around. And they're just gonna be independent, things like that. Like, and then when I did go through it and I stood, that kind of broke me in a million pieces because I'm like, damn, like I let my mom down. So this day she doesn't know about it. Well, obviously now she probably knows, but her when she was alive, I never told her anything, which is really fucked up. And I just don't. I've never spoke about it. I've been strong all these years, and at this point, you get tired of being strong, and I just want to bury it, and I don't want to be strong anymore, and I don't want to carry it. And strong people break. We definitely break. So I'm done with being strong all the fucking time. And I'm done protecting everyone that has not protected me and does not protect me or does nothing for me. And it's not fair to me at the end of the day. Being silenced is just like people don't speak on how abusive it is to someone. And it's like, when am I going to stop being abused by this individual? Like, when does it end? I'm at that point in my life. Like, when does it end? Because it's not fair. And it's not fair to my kid. It's not fair to none of us. Like, who wants to live like that? I don't. I'm done living like that. I want to talk about my healing journey and what I'm doing and what I'm going to continue doing and moving forward in order for me to release all this, I wouldn't call it baggage, because I have come really, 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 really far. I have literally made changes in my life in order to be happy, taking care of myself. Self-care, self-love, people just use that word and throw it around, but people don't understand that self-care and self-love is a fucking routine. I need it daily. I need it the time, the place, when I'm eating, my gym, like my work schedule, like everything for me has to be in place and in a routine. And that's a huge self-love for me. It's something that I need to feel good physically, mentally, internally, like everything. In order for me to feel good, I need my routine in life. I feel like that helps me with my triggers, traumas, and like things that I don't even know if I'm holding on to, or when they do appear, I feel like because I'm so level-headed up here because of my routine and the things that I do, it helps. So the way I would have reacted to a situation a couple years ago is not the way I would react today. Now I'm human. I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I used to always react off of emotions. I really kind of stopped, and I'm gonna say kind of because there are moments where I do fuck up and I do react off of emotions, and it's like, yeah, no, but then I take accountability. I see it, I acknowledge it, and I'm gonna do better. And this is all for me. This has nothing to do with the people around me. This has nothing to do with making other people see who I am, because I don't give a fuck to be seen. That's one thing about me. I've always been in my own fucking lane. A part of my healing journey is basically just me having my routine in place. One of my best friends actually sent me 2 books on Amazon. It was a surprise, and I am obsessed. And this is going to be my new ritual. I'm gonna call it like a ritual. So I'm gonna be working on this. So this is the first book, which is called Homebody. It's by Rupi Kaur. I think that's how you say the last name, right? And it's literally just like, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's literally just like little quotes and poetry, and it's literally amazing for me to help with like my anxiety and certain things. So it's just like, it's so good. It's so good. If you guys are going through a healing journey, anything like that, I suggest getting these 2 books. I'm gonna actually start this tonight, which I am super duper excited for. It's basically a healing journey journal. and it's healing through words, right? And it literally is poetry and free writing, and it's something I actually have to physically do, which I don't know if you guys are into writing when you guys are in pain or you guys are feeling any kind of way. Writing helps me, and it just gets me through a lot. Instead of me reacting, I'd rather just write about it. So things like hurting, it's so many chapters. And this was like one of it. This is like amazing. I don't know if you guys can read that, but I felt that. If I knew what safety looked like, I would have spent less time falling into arms that were not. One thing for me is feeling safe. And I think that's what triggers me into relationships and just being around men and things like that. Because not feeling safe, it's actually a very fucked up feeling. Growing up, I would say, you know, the men in my life, I felt safe with them, but then they were also monsters. It might be harsh to say, but reality is outside, I knew I was safe with them. Inside, I was not safe with them. And that started as a kid. I think that's why the person I ended up with as a teenager, he was the same way. This person was crazy outside. I always felt safe, but inside, he was a monster. He became a monster because it wasn't always that way. But they become true monsters. Reading that quote, when I first got the book, that was the first thing I read, and I was just like, I understand that. I felt it. So I was just like, that is why I have not been in relationships since this person. Yeah, you have situationships. Yeah, I've been in whatever. And I just never settled because I never was comfortable, even within myself, to give myself to someone completely. You like intimacy as an adult because I didn't have that foundation at home growing up, where the men in my life showed me what women should be treated, showed me how to be taken care of, how to be loved, and how to be talked to, and things like that. So I didn't get that at home, so I don't know how I would even expect that outside of home. So when I first got any kind of love from someone else, I took it. I took it from that one person, and it was it for me. And it was like, no, you're crazy. But I was young and obviously naive. But you lacking intimacy as an adult because of the people who have hurt me throughout my life, it really fucks with my relationships now and the people that I want to be with or pursue or just want to move on with. And it's hard. It's so fucking hard. And I just turned 34 and I'm just like, yeah, this is not it. I'm going to learn how to love correctly. Me loving someone correctly and me making sure the love that I get is reciprocated because I have so much fucking love to give. But the shit that I've gone through holds me back. I'm sorry, I'm gonna backtrack back to this journal thing. There's so much that you get to write. This one hits hella home because of my mom. So it's literally writing a letter to my mom, which I have done that before, and it's actually really nice. But it says, one thing I need you to know is, so dear mother, one thing I need you to know is, and I'm just going to free write, and it's going to be crazy because I know I'm gonna be hysterical. Thank you, Jeanette. I love you for giving me these books. She knew I was going to record this video soon. She couldn't have came at like a perfect time. Dealing with it at a young age and then still dealing with it as an adult because there is such thing as silent abuse and some people don't really understand what silent abuse is. It all plays a role in my life to where I no longer want it to have an effect on me. I'm choosing for it not to have an effect on me. I'm releasing everything that has been thrown at me and I'm letting it go. And speaking on it is going to do something for me internally, and I don't expect people to understand. I don't expect people to be on, and there's no sides either. So, because I'm not here to bash anyone, let's get that shit straight. I could have ruined lives years ago and continue to ruin lives if I wanted to, but I would never. So, these are not my intentions. But speaking on it is something I need to speak on. I have to speak on, and it's something I want to get more involved with other ladies, and because I know there are friends and probably family who have dealt with it and no one speaks about it, and I'm ready to no longer be silent about any of it. So this is my beginning to releasing all of that. And a lot of people might think like, oh, but it happened so long ago. People don't realize the effects that things take on you and how many years it takes away from you for years. And I'm no longer letting it take away from what the fuck is destined for me. Because I know I'm destined to be bigger than what the fuck I am. So letting fear go, letting everything out, if that's what I feel like I have to do, I'm gonna fucking do it. This is my, you know how people write a letter and you burn it? This is my video. This is my burn letter. So I know I'm gonna get backlash or shit like that, but hey, people talk. You're gonna talk whether you're doing good or bad. People are gonna fucking talk. One thing about me is I really truly don't give a fuck about anyone's feelings. My biggest thing with doing this video was not to get into real life, like real details, because I don't want people to look at people a different way. And once again, I'm protecting my kid. There's no reason for me to speak exactly on how I was abused or how I was, I don't know, like I don't want to reopen that either. But just speaking on the fact that I'm even saying that I did go through abuse, physical abuse, mental and verbal, the fact that I even can say it out loud and for the world to hear, that's a huge thing for me. That's me stepping out of my fear. I know I have to do it. And I'm hoping that it can help someone else, help another female, even men go through it too. I'm hoping that this video does help somebody, and people who have been holding on for years or people who are going through it right now. And just know that you're not alone, and we all get it. And I'm not here to judge anyone. And I do hope that one day, with what I'm trying to do with my career, that this right here is my rite of passage where it just starts opening up for me. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like a huge weight has lifted off my shoulder finally. It's only been, I don't know, 15, 20 years, but a huge weight feels lifted. And I'm just happy that I am going to be capable of speaking about it. I'm happy that I'm choosing me this time around. I'm protecting me for once. And moving forward, I'm going to be as vocal as possible. This is my basically catch up with me and the things that I've been going through, because me not dropping any content, me starting therapy, me trying to heal and continue to heal on my healing journey, and making amends within myself with the relationships that I have in my life and the relationships that I no longer have in my life. So I figured what better way to come back than basically just catching you guys up on my life and what I've been struggling with, what I am coping with and dealing with. And I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope it does help somebody.